Welcome to Inside the 87's, your home for updates of one of the top junior hockey programs in the EHL, located in the hockey hotbed of New Jersey, where hockey players are molded for the next level, the 87 way.
Welcome to another edition of Inside the 87's. My name is Anthony DiPaolo. This week, our digital content coordinator, Alyssa Morrison, will have a one-on-one chat with EHL forward Michael Hertzberg. Then we will have a special guest, mental health specialist Julia Byerly of Miami University, and she will talk about mental health awareness. Later on, we'll continue our top 10 plays of the year segment. So stay tuned. Here on Inside the 87's, we'll send it off to Alyssa and Michael Hertzberg.
I'm here with Michael Hertzberg, and why don't you give us a little introduction about yourself?
Hi guys, my name's Michael Hertzberg. I was adopted from St. Petersburg, Russia when I was 10 months old, but I was raised in the Pittsburgh area in Pennsylvania, and I'm 20 years old, January 3rd, 2000. It's my birthday, and I'm very happy to be re-signing with the New Jersey 87's.
Talk about your decision to stick with the 87's, and why did you make the choice to come back this season?
Well, first of all, one of the first reasons why I wanted to re-sign with the 87's was just the familiarity with the coaches and the team systems and my teammates. Just it's very familiar to me, and I really enjoyed it this past year playing New Jersey. And I have the coaches' trust, and I just trust what they're doing is their systems where they're going to get us a championship if you just execute the system right. And I played in the USPHL season prior to this past season, and there's exposure just not as great as the EHL. Like there's a lot more showcases in the EHL, and there's a lot more league-wide commits, and our team so far had 6 commits this year, so that just shows you difference between the two junior leagues. I think the EHL's got to be one of the top, if not the top, tier 3 junior league exposure-wise for colleges, Division 2, Division 3 colleges. So, just like the team, the whole competitiveness of the league, it's a lot higher. It's a lot more higher functioning play than other leagues. It's more competitive. It's guys are bigger, stronger than other leagues, in my opinion. It's just faster game.
Like you mentioned, well, we were talking a little bit before the interview actually started, and you did mention your goal is to pursue a career past juniors, which is college hockey. So that's awesome. But I want to talk about right now, which is what kind of sacrifices do you have to make to be on such a high caliber team such as the 87's?
Well, there's a lot of sacrifices to make. First of all, I'm not from New Jersey, so I'm about a 6.5-hour drive away. So, I have to move away from my home and my family for, almost half a year to play hockey. But it is junior hockey, not going to school right now. It's your full-time job, so you have to be fully committed to your body, your mind, and your game. You have to sacrifice, jobs back at home. You have to put them on hold. Possibly find a new job elsewhere and where you play, and just keeping up with your schoolwork if you can. There's classes to take. You should take courses. I'm actually taking an anthropology course that started today online, so keeping my brain in check. And I was actually accepted early decision into Union College 2017, which was the winter of my senior year, and I decided to hold off. They've given me 2 gap years, and they'll be giving me a 3rd gap year this coming season to see if I am able to commit to a college to play hockey. And if I can, they'll release me without pay. So I've been just keeping up with college courses and trying to get credits.
That's awesome. You did mention that keeping your mind and body in check are super important, especially at the level you're playing at. Talk about the season that just happened and your living situation and how you were maintaining that kind of healthy lifestyle, even though some players weren't.
So myself, I like to work out a lot. I've been told I live in the gym by the trainers at our rink. So I don't know. I'm a smaller guy for average, height and weight of today's game. So if my parents always told me if you're gonna be a small, you might as well be strong, be able to compete with older and bigger guys. So and being small, you have to be fast too. So I think just being able to play fast and keeping my legs in shape. From where I'm from in Pittsburgh, there's a lot of hills, so I like to run up hills. If I can, if it's nice out, I like to bike up hills because it's tough resistance on your legs. So or just go for long distance bike rides. If there's a field open nearby, I like to do sprints, stuff that I would normally do with my trainer at a gym. I unfortunately don't have many weights in my house. My basement, I have like couple resistance bands and stuff like that. And I've just been doing like core and body weight stuff and shooting pucks, like for the physical aspect, my driveway. And then mental aspect, I've been, like I said, taking college courses online and trying to watch any hockey that's on, just like around in Pittsburgh, even playing like old Penguins games, like replays of the 90s championship teams and the back-to-back championship teams in 2016 and 2017. So just been trying to watch any hockey I can, just keep my mind hungry on like this coming season. And just been going over, honestly, just like our team systems and in my head, because I was told, when you return, you got to be sharp. You got to be more sharp about this, the team systems. So been trying to keep up with those as well.
That's really great. And also going off of that, you did mention to me kind of during the season, you struggled a little bit, but it was kind of like you were doing all that you could and you didn't realize what you were doing, I guess, wrong per se, when, you felt that you were putting in the work and you weren't getting any results in terms of the lineup. So let's talk about the importance of not being afraid to ask questions and really getting to know your coach's coaching style.
Yeah. So like in the beginning of the season, I could identify myself as a guy that was going to be a competitor in our lineup and could play any role, first to fourth line. It didn't matter. I think we were so deep that, we didn't really have set first to fourth lines. So just being able to compete for a spot. And I found myself often, which obviously as a player you don't want to do, is, comparing myself to other players. Oh, I could do the same, if not better than this person. Why is he getting more ice time than me? Stuff like that. But, I just kind of forgot about all that and moved on and just said, just work really hard and just do what you're supposed to do. But still things didn't seem to be clicking. So I went to the Coach Maddie and Coach Hooley, and they're, very easy to talk to. They make you very comfortable. I just said, like, if you guys think I stink, like, just tell me, like, you're not going to hurt my feelings. It's only going to help me instead of having, being like put up on a pedestal and, being praised for stuff that you might not be good at. So, and they said, well, you need to work and on your systems and just knowing the systems. And I actually didn't even realize that I was doing some of the systems in our plays like completely wrong. So Coach Maddie was nice enough to draw some up on the whiteboard, and we went over them after some practices, and I started to get very detailed in practice. And I asked some of the veteran guys, like Andrew Maynard, Moose would help me out. I said, like, what do the coaches, look for, like in practices? Obviously, like, if you're going hard and scoring a lot, there's a couple of things. But he said, just like if they say, skate to the dot, like skate to the dot, like just do everything with like in a very detailed way, and just show that you're paying attention. Just so I started to do that, and I started to get a little more ice time, and also just finding my role on the team was also a little bit of an issue in the beginning. I could basically be any type of player you want, like except for a fighter. I'm not a fighter. But so like an energy guy was kind of the role I was able to find and carve out. Like just guys, if our team's not going with the legs, like, I got to be the first guy to step up and show, like, this is my skating ability. Like not back down from the 200-foot game. So
It definitely shows your persistence in your playing style and just you as an individual, for you to kind of step out of your comfort zone and reach out to your coaches. And I think too, I know this is your interview, but I do want to say this. I was watching a coaching round table. I think it was with DMV prospects, but one of the things that a college coach said is you have to find the right fit for you. One of the big things is, yeah, that college might be amazing at hockey, but are you able to conform to this coaching style? And what you were just saying, like, even though you were, I guess, conforming, you were really just picking their brains to figure out, why is it working for other players and not for me? So that's really great that you got to, figure that out with them, and it ended up working out in your favor, which I think is awesome. That was actually the last of my questions that I had. But instead of this time asking my Instagram followers to ask you questions, I actually had a couple questions of my own that no one was really asking. And like, this is kind of what I want to know anyways. So I'm just, using my position to my advantage. Okay. So what is your game day routine? Do you eat chicken Parmesan like every other player?
Chicken Parmesan? No, I don't really have a game day routine. I mean, like our games are mostly in like the afternoons. If they're a home game, like at 12 or 12:30. So, I don't know. I just wake up, get breakfast, like usually a bowl of cereal, play music when I'm getting dressed, drive the boys to the rink. I don't really have like any lucky attire where I just, change my suit game up a little, different tie, different jacket. Come in, put my stuff usually the same way I have it hung up, and get in my warm-ups, just get my own personal warm-up done, and then I go out with the team and we play a little bit of suey, the soccer ball, warm up, and then just when you get back in the locker room, anything, my stick needs taped or something, my skates need sharpened, I have that all done prior to the game. So I'm just being prepared. I don't really have any routine, just kind of do stuff the same, but just all mental, just keeping your mind focused on what you need to do and how you need to get the job done.
You're so chill. You're not a Sidney Crosby, that's for sure.
Yeah,
he's insane. Yeah. Okay, so for my last question that I had, I'm going a little bit deep, but you said that you're okay with this. One of the biggest things I look for in hockey players, especially at this level, is a good head on their shoulders and a kind heart. Like, you can have all the skills in the world, but if you are, not the nicest person, I don't really care. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So how do you plan to positively impact the community and society?
Well, away from hockey, I've throughout my 4 years of high school, I actually had about 100 community service hours per year. So I received 3 presidential community service awards through that from the President of the United States. Not trying to brag, but and actually, my senior year, I was nominated to be the only person. There's one person from each state in the District of Columbia to be nominated by like teachers or colleagues who have like conveyed the American spirit, you want to call it, in like the best way, like throughout their community, just making an impact on their community and whatnot through community service work or just helping out in the education system. So I guess a couple of my teachers nominated me and I won. So it was like a trip to New Orleans to be presented an American Spirit Award. So I got a little medal for that. So that was really fun. But I don't know, just hockey wise, just trying to be. I like to try to emulate how guys like Sidney Crosby or just other top players that are also, you could see they're very good people off the ice that just give back to their community, because you can't forget where you come from. Doesn't matter who you are now, you have to remember your roots. So I just think that's very important. So doing stuff like off the ice, I don't know, not too much community service of late, but like if anybody ever needs help or something, even I have a little niece and she likes to play hockey, so try to teach her a few things here and there. But just, I don't know, just trying to be a good person to my teammates, stuff like that.
Yeah, and after talking to you, like, you were so nice and so willing, and I just want to let people know, like, you were reaching out to me first rather than me asking you to do the interview. And to me, like, that shows so much character, because you know that this is promoting not only yourself but the league, the organization, your team, and that's just awesome to hear. So thank you so much for doing this interview. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
Of course. Thank you, and I will see you this season.
Okay. I look forward to seeing you. Take care.
Normally, I would have another player on to do a second interview, but this week is actually a little bit different. I brought on one of my best friends, Julia Byerly.
Hey guys!
It is the month of May, and this month is Mental Health Awareness Month, so I thought, who better to bring on than someone that is an advocate for mental health awareness all the time. And honestly, she truly helped me out as a person and as an athlete, so thank you for that.
You're welcome, dude!
So do you want to give a little bit of an insight of who you are and how you became to be here?
Yeah, so I'm Julia, sorry. I go to University of Miami. I'm a cheerleader there. Me and Alyssa actually cheered together for two
long.
Yeah, and so we kind of got to experience that together. We'll talk about that a little bit later. I'm also a cheerleader at University of Miami, and I'm a nursing major, so I really want to help people after I graduate. And within my time at UM currently, I am the mental health and wellness chair for my sorority. So I try and help people that way.
I think topics such as mental health is super important, especially in the hockey world, because we still live in a society where hegemonic masculinity takes its course, and because it's so dominated within sports such as hockey and football, men are kind of trained to believe like we don't need to react and we don't need to show our emotions, because if we do, then we show this vulnerability that makes us seem like we're weak.
Yeah, I totally agree with that, and especially when men do show their vulnerability, it's like so surprising. And sometimes you don't even see that in the form of like what you might expect from like maybe a panic attack or like visible signs of anxiety or depression or a manic episode. Sometimes you see that in just the form of poor performance. And I think sometimes the way that men will show, I don't want to say weakness, but some areas where their mental health is not at their peak for their sports performance will show in how they play. And it won't manifest itself in a traditional way, such as a panic attack or visible signs of anxiety or something like that.
I've definitely, so as she mentioned, we have cheered together before, and we're opening up, we're getting deep on this video series, this podcast. She used to be my flyer, so meaning I would lift her up, and there would be competitions where you would have such bad anxiety that it would affect us competing.
In my personal experience, as Alyssa kind of touched on, I dealt with a lot of pre-performance anxiety. My first competition year, I would be so anxious for a week leading up. Even when we traveled to away competitions, I couldn't even enjoy the weekend going up to it. Like, I didn't want to go out to dinner beforehand, before the first day of a competition. I didn't want to even go tour the city a little bit. I just wanted to like stay focused. But now looking back on it, I kind of realized that made it almost worse, because I just kept thinking about it. And then leading up to the moment when we would perform, like, my anxiety would just kind of build and build and build, and it would just be me trying to relax myself as much as I can. And when I got on the mat, like, it kind of went away for the most part, to be honest. But I just remember it tearing me apart, and I feel bad for Alyssa, because she even told my stunt group, or our stunt group, like,
this is just how it is.
Yeah.
Leave her be.
Like, be careful what you say to her, because you're gonna freak her out.
This is like a really good point, because hockey is not a one-man sport. You know what I mean? This is not golf. This is not a sport where you're relying on your personal talents and your efforts. This is a team sport, right? It's so important to be the best you can for yourself and your team as well. Another reason why we really wanted to give our backstory, especially in cheerleading, is because we both still cheer to this day. And we both have made changes in our lifestyle and how we prep to have a more enjoyable and, I guess, better overall experience. What we want to kind of share with our story is we've gotten past the point of just dealing with anxiety, and we've gotten past settling for less and just kind of dealing with it, when we know now that we don't have to just deal with it. We can proactively change it.
I think also, at least in the way that I prepare for game days now, I'm not anxious like for the entire week beforehand, like I used to be.
That's really good.
Yeah, thank God. So now, kind of the night before, I just focus on eating well, like relaxing, watching TV, and then kind of waking up in the right state of mind. And for me, like my getting ready ritual, which for cheerleading tends to be quite long, and like even just getting the chance to listen to music, and just getting ready puts me in the right state of mind. And also, I have like a particular skill that I oftentimes struggle with mentally. It's called standing tuck. It's like a standing backflip. And one thing that my captain this year told me that really helps, which is very like simple. She just said, like, just rip the Band-Aid off, just throw it. Like the more, so just do the skill. Like without even thinking, because I would, and I still do sometimes, just sit there and just like overthink and just like think like, oh my gosh, I can't do it, blah, 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 blah. But if I just like, just do it without thinking, then sometimes that helps me. Sometimes you just kind of have to let your body and your natural ability take over. It's when you let your mind get in the way of what you know how to do. And that's a mantra that you can maintain in your mind is, you know how to do this. Like, you could do it in your sleep. Just don't let this idea of perfection take over.
Going off of that story that I just shared, we do realize in the society, especially in this day and age, men are raised to suppress their emotions. We really wanted to bring up this topic because we know that it's so difficult to be told all these things and to be raised with such a standard and then have to follow it. And for us, we really just want to let you guys know, whoever's watching, that it's okay to have emotions and it's okay to be vulnerable and it's okay to have these feelings, but it's not okay to bottle them up and have it affect your game. In the end, this is for you. This sport is, a choice. This is not something that you're forced to be doing, and you obviously love it if you're still doing it and you're that good.
The closer you can get to addressing those emotions and being like, okay, like I have pre-performance anxiety. How can I fix that? And the closer you are to moving on and getting past that. And I think that's so much more mature and appropriate than bottling it up and having it manifest itself in a poor performance.
There is a player, his name is Braden Holtby, and he plays for the Washington Capitals. He's a goalie. What he does throughout the game is he takes off his helmet and uses his water bottle on the net, and he'll flip up the water, squirt out the water and watch the water to help him refocus.
Whoa.
Yeah. So not all goalies have to do that, and I mean, if it doesn't work and it's just you watching water, don't do that. But there are different things that players do to gain their refocus, even if it's just a breathing exercise. And going from that, we kind of want to talk about some things you can do or something you might want to try if you do have these kind of emotions leading into a game or even during a game. It's super important to at least try and figure out the cause and what you can do to help and fix it.
So I would say the best thing to maintain a clear mind, not just in a game, but throughout life in general is meditation and yoga. And I know that yoga may not seem...
Yeah, they're probably like, yoga?
Yoga may not seem like the most masculine thing.
But that's not what this is about. We're teaching you how to break away from that stereotype, okay?
I know so many masculine men who are like, you know what, like, I don't care what people think about yoga. If this is going to help me with my sport, I'm going to do it. And I totally understand that. Whatever would help me get better at my sport, I don't care. Well, as long as it's legal and safe, I will do it.
Yeah.
And mad respect to those people too, because if you're not going to do something that's going to make you perform better, why? Because people are going to judge you? I don't know. I think you would want to kind of rethink that.
First of all, you're still paying to play. So all the money you're putting into you playing the sport, you're investing your body, which is huge because we should be not cheering right now. You're investing your body, you're investing the most important thing you have, you're investing your mind. So if all of this is going on inside, it's gonna carry on after hockey. It's gonna carry on after the sport. And these are so important to maintain, and they're so special. Everything that I just named, it's so special to take care of.
Yeah. So one of our coaches used to always say, take it one step at a time. And that for me is such an important mantra for my sport and also for life in general. Like, I often find myself when I'm doing anything random, cleaning the dishes, like laying in bed, like whatever, I'll find myself with just thoughts racing and just thinking about random things that I don't need to be thinking about. So if you can focus on whatever you're doing 100%, like at any given moment, you're going to have the mental clarity you need to do that task. And you won't have the distractions of something else that may be happening later or in the future, or doubts about yourself that could impact your performance.
Right. Applying this kind of idea to hockey in general, it's like, don't take this the wrong way. I'm not at your level. I'm not good, okay? After experiencing, playing hockey firsthand, watching it, growing up in a hockey family, and just knowing the sport in general, I really learned that when you apply what Julia was talking about to hockey, it's really like, keep it simple, stupid, kiss.
I think maintaining your intentions and setting them before the game is a great idea. And also keeping it simple.
A very simple technique that you could start doing in your game, in your pre-planning, whatever the case may be, is visualization.
So that's a technique that I've actually used a lot as well, to get myself kind of past the fear of my standing tuck, which is the skill that I struggle with a lot. I would sit in class and just imagine myself breaking it down one part at a time and landing it perfectly. So in the sense of what a hockey player would do, they could imagine, I could say like, they could imagine like carrying
different, say, you can imagine different scenarios.
And like, can I say like each play?
Yeah.
Okay. So in the case of a hockey player, they can imagine different scenarios and different plays and how they are going to do their job.
And with that said, we are going to end this segment of Inside the 87's for this week, but we do want to put out a little disclaimer that all of our opinions are kind of our own and what we've learned and experienced throughout the years of us either playing a sport or taking classes.
Yeah, so this is purely anecdotal evidence. I strongly suggest seeking professional guidance to improve yourselves and your mental clarity and your overall performance.
And with that, thank you so much for tuning in to this week's episode of Inside the 87's. We hope you enjoy, and I'll see you here back next week. Bye.
That was some terrific insight from Julia Byerly. We thank her again for joining the show. Now we continue our top 10 plays of the year segment, and at play number 9, it's a goal from Zach Tarantino, forward currently committed to UMass Dartmouth. And I want you to pay attention to this play. Tim DeBoard has the puck. He throws it towards the net, and the puck is in the skates of Andrew Maynard. Now he makes a nice little pass between his legs on his backhand right to Tarantino, who's behind him, where he eventually scores the goal. It's those little subtle passes from Maynard that makes the 87's offense so special. One of the more dangerous lineups in the Eastern Hockey League. It's that creativity and those subtle plays that you might not notice in real time. So here it is, a goal from Zach Tarantino against New York Apple Corps as top play number 9.
DeBoard at the face-off dot, where it's a sharp angle shot. Save made. Rebound is loose and they scored. Zach Tarantino. His second goal of the season. DeBoard took the sharp angle shot. Maynard jarred the puck loose. And it went right to Tarantino in the low slot. And he gives the 87's their first lead of the day.